Morning. Hi, I'm Kevin Kay. I'm president of Spike, soon to be Paramount Network, TV Land, and CMT. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us here today at Viacom's headquarters in the heart of Times Square. We're only 10 blocks from Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, and the site for the biggest event in Bellator history, and the most highly anticipated mixed martial arts card of the year. And if you look around, you'll see here we have all mixed martial artists. There are no boxers. Only the best promoter in the business, Scott Coker, could put together such an incredible blockbuster card with something for everyone. There are epic rivalries, there are 3 world title fights, and there's an historic battle featuring a legendary Russian hero and a hard-hitting and fast-talking American. I'll do you all a favor and I'll save the Trump joke there for later. I want to make it clear how excited everyone at Spike and Viacom are to have this monumental event right here in our own backyard. With such a star-studded lineup that represents Bellator's return to pay-per-view, which we see as a long-term business and a long-term business opportunity for Bellator as a company. So I'd like to thank our partners at In Demand, DirecTV, Dish Network, and Ubiquity for their continued support. I'd also like to point out that Viacom is a New York-based company. We are literally thousands of employees here in New York. We have employees all over the world, but we're proud to be a New York company, not a Las Vegas company. It's been an incredible year thus far for Bellator with record ratings, record attendance, including packed houses in major markets such as Los Angeles, London, Chicago, Tel Aviv, among others, and an incredible international growth. Bellator can now be seen in 163 countries around the world, and we have a potential audience of over 1 billion mixed martial arts consumers. As you can see up here on the dais, maybe the biggest win this far has been the roster improvement and the development, which features homegrown stars, strategic free agents that make sense for this organization, and I believe the best crop of rising stars in the sport. And for those of you who haven't been to a Bellator event yet, the live experience is really fantastic. We've got huge video boards, we've got creative entrances, great music. The energy and excitement of a live show, I think, turns you into a lifelong Bellator fan. That's a direct result of the best production team in the business, led by Scott Fisherman, John Slesser, and the Spike Sports team. On Saturday, we'll also have Dave Navarro performing the national anthem, and the FDNY ceremonial unit presenting our nation's colors. Dave's a great friend of Spike. His show is a big hit for us. He's an incredible artist and musician, and we'll be happy to have him. So with great talent, top-notch production, and the best announcing team in the sport, it's no wonder that we've amassed an incredible roster of fantastic partnerships. So I want to give a big shout out to our partners, Miller Lite, Dave & Buster's, Monster Energy, Blackheart Rum, KFC, and Fox Films. Without them, this does not happen. Look, we've come a long way in the 3 years since Scott and his team have joined us, and I believe the best is yet to come for this organization. So I want to thank you all again for joining us today as we prepare for this epic night. Right now, I'd like to introduce the man behind it all. I consider him a friend. He's a great executive. He's a true proponent of mixed martial arts, and I believe the best promoter in the business. Please welcome Scott Coker.
You know, I was just over here talking to Hoyce Gracie, and I said, you know, look around this room. I mean, the talent level in this building is pretty phenomenal. I've been associated with a lot of fights in my 32 years, but never in one building like this have I put together a talent fight card of this magnitude. So I'm very proud of those guys. I'd like to thank all the fighters. Really, this is about you. We're just the facilitators. I'd like to thank Viacom and the continued commitment, and really, I'd like to thank Kevin Kay, because I've said this before, but I really want to make sure people understand. It was Kevin's decision to green light The Ultimate Fighter, I believe in 2005 and 2006, back when mixed martial arts was not on TV. Mixed martial arts did not have main sponsors. And really, it was, you know, Kevin's decision to say, hey, we'll give you guys a shot. And that was really Viacom's first entrance into mixed martial arts. So, you know, we should thank Kevin Kay, we should thank Bob Beckish, we should thank John Slesser, we should thank Viacom for the continued commitment, because without them, you know, who knows where mixed martial arts would be here and would be here now today. And I think your reporters that have been here for many years and been part of the sport for generations, I mean, I think that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, because there was a period where I call it the dark ages, and you know, it was not on TV, and there was, you know, it was just kind of this, you know, this little renegade sport, and now it's developed into a mainstream sport. You know, I'm proud to be here at Madison Square Garden in New York City, promoting this fight. This is an amazing chapter, personally for me as a fight promoter. You know, I never thought that coming from, you know, a small show back in 1985 in San Jose, California, promoting kickboxing in front of 3,000 people, that, you know, eventually you get to the Garden and you'd be on pay-per-view and you can put a fight card of this magnitude together. So I thank you, I thank Viacom, I thank Kevin. He already thanked the sponsors, so I won't do it again. But as far as the fight card goes, you know, people said, why pay-per-view? And I said, you know, it all started really with Matt's injury pulling out of the Fedor fight. And we had that fight to make up, and then we had signed Wanderlei Silva to fight Chael. And we said, you know, this is looking like a premium product. And when you put those fights together, and we added just 3 killer title fights, one to be on Spike Bellator 180, and then the 2 fights on the pay-per-view. And then you round it off with a fight card, the pay-per-view fight card with Aaron Pico, who is probably arguably the most, you know, as far as prospects, one of the most highly recruited prospects I've seen come out of MMA for the last 5-6 years. So we have a lot of high hopes for the fight card, and I look forward to seeing the fights myself on Saturday night. So at this time, why don't we just open it up for questions?
Guys, if you have questions, please raise your hand, wait for the microphone, and then stand up. We'll start right here in the front row.
Hi, Phoenix Carnivale, Everything Martial Arts. Talking about Aaron Pico and him being the hottest prospect to come into MMA recently, Aaron, my question is for you. Being on this fight card, going through fight week with all these veterans, all these champions, has anybody said anything to you, given you any advice? What's your thoughts and feelings about this?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is people have just been saying, enjoy it, have fun. You're in Madison Square Garden, you're in New York, just enjoy it. The work's been done. Can't really get much better in a week, so just, you know, I've been getting my practices in, but the most thing is just, I've been enjoying it. I'm here with my training partners, my dad, and my coaches, so I'm just having fun, enjoying it, and then Saturday night, it's showtime.
Now, Chael, for you, you know, it's 7 years in the making, this fight back and forth, the animosity back and forth. At the end, when the bell rings, whenever somebody's arm's up in the air, is it over? Is the animosity over, or is this going to continue?
Yeah, who knows? You know, there's a camaraderie that comes with competition, but not always. Sometimes you follow protocol and procedure, which is you shake the other guy's hand and you leave it there until you get in the back, and then you want to do it all over again. I don't wish him well, and he doesn't wish me well. And if you hear Wanderlei's side, I'm the bad guy in the story. If you hear my side, he's the bad guy. I'm sure there's enough blame to go around, but I don't really see what the difference is. Let's just fight.
And Wanderlei, same question for you. Will the impulse be there to shake Chael's hand at the end of the fight?
No.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much.
A question for Wanderlei. How are you? You said leading up to the fight that if you're in the same room as Chael, you know, things might get a little dicey. Did anything happen in the back? How do you feel actually being in the same room as him for the first time in a while?
No, happy because I look at him so scared out there. No, I'm gonna wait for the fight.
Chael, is that accurate?
Yeah, I've stayed away from him. I haven't seen Wanderlei until just now, and I don't even know if I made eye contact with him here. I have no idea. I mean, he came out in an interview and said he wanted to taste my blood. And it's like, come on, man. Dan Henderson knocked the taste out of your mouth 10 years ago. You can't taste a goddamn thing.
Thank you.
Davis from the Telegraph. Thank you for having me here. Chael, Wanderlei, you know, one of the things that happens, I think it's, you know, 5 years, this simmering rivalry, or this bad blood, if you want to call it that. Are you both going to step in there and actually deliver something special for us on Saturday night? You know, you're both veterans now, if I can call you that in the right sense of the word. But do you want to deliver a fight for the ages, or just kind of deliver each other, kind of rendered unconscious on the canvas? Chael?
Yeah, man, I want to fight. You know, one thing about Vanderlei, he's a cage fighter. I'm a cage fighter. I had my first fight in 1997. I don't know where this term mixed martial arts and all this stuff came from. I'm not a martial artist. I don't wear bathrobes, and I damn sure don't bow to people. So when they lock that door, man, we're going to be two half-naked men with very limited rules, and we are going to fight.
Vanderlei?
Fight's fight, we're gonna check that.
And how are you? It's 4 years, isn't it, since you fought last? What have you done constructively in the camp to get yourself ready again?
Yeah, after I signed with the Bellator, I feel my happiness back, and I feel happy again, and I clean my mind, I clean my body, and because sometimes we train so much we don't want to do anymore. But right now I'm ready to back, and I'm ready to back to the top.
Thank you very much. And just a final question from me for the heavyweights. Fedor, you've been on some massive events in your career, and obviously you are one of the great legends. You probably would be in the Mount Rushmore of faces in MMA's history. How does this event feel to you? What's the feel of this event? Does it feel enormous, as it does for Bellator and Viacom here at Madison Square Garden?
Во-первых, я очень рад, что выступаю в Беллаторе, в такой арене, как Madison Square Garden.
So first of all, I would like to say that I'm very happy to perform in Bellator and to perform at Madison Square Garden.
Спасибо Скотту, Bellator за предоставленную.
Scott, thank you so much, and Bellator, thank you so much for such a great opportunity.
Конечно, я рад выступать для своих фанов в Нью-Йорке и вообще во всем мире.
And I'm very happy to perform for my fans in New York and all over the world.
И, конечно, рад выступлять с такими бойцами, с такими именитыми бойцами, как представлены в этой карте.
And I'm very happy also to participate in the same event together with such great names which are showed on this very card.
Hey Scott, question for you. You signed Mauro Ranallo and Mike Goldberg. They're splitting duties for this event, but I'm wondering if you can give us a sense going forward how they're going to be splitting assignments and who's going to have a greater workload, how it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, the play-by-play will be split up between both those gentlemen, and they each will have their own events moving forward. This was a situation where it all happened in the last 2 weeks, so we said let's put it all together, and that's what we did for this fight. But moving forward, it will be split up.
A question for Michael Chandler. Michael, heading to this card, being a part of this card with Sonnen and Wanderlei, obviously you've been one of the guys from the beginning of Bellator. So I just want your perspective on being through the whole run up until now, what it means to you to still be part of the Bellator brand.
Yeah, man, it's been amazing. It really has, to see the exponential growth. I mean, I've been with Bellator since the ESPN Deportes days. You know, back in the day when girls' softball games were getting precedence over mixed martial arts events on TV, you know, and my fights weren't happening on TV till 2 in the morning because of, you know, things like that happening. So to be on Spike TV and build the brand, and then now to be on pay-per-view of the world's most iconic arena, the exponential growth has been amazing, and it's awesome to be with a company as we grow. Symbiotically win-win situation for both parties. I mean, I've been involved in some of the biggest, most exciting fights in this brand, or under this promotion, and they've done a great job of taking care of me. So it's been a phenomenal situation. It's been a phenomenal working relationship, and man, it doesn't get any bigger than Madison Square Garden. It does not get any bigger than June 24th, Saturday night. So it's exciting, and I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to go out there, defend my title, continue to put my stamp on this sport, continue to show the world why I'm the most dominant lightweight in the world, and continue to move forward.
Joe Spano, SB Nation Radio. Chael, Vanderlei, this question is for you guys. With a rivalry this heated and this much anger and emotion between you two, in combat sports, strategy and a game plan and sticking to that game plan is a big part of any fight. How do you keep the emotion and the anger out of it and make sure to stick to your game plan so ultimately at the end of the night you can be the winner and prevail?
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. I don't have game plans, and I'm not playing a game or anything like that. It's a fight. And as far as emotion goes, you know, people say this shouldn't be personal, but it is personal. You know, I can't think of anything more personal than having to fight a guy. And generally in my career, it's not been about animosity. It's just been about competing with somebody the same size. We've got the same goals. We got to go out there and do what we can do. But as far as Vanderlei and I, man, we never got it right. We've never got it right from the beginning, and we've been trying to fight one another, and we both ended up in the principal's office after we had signed contracts, but here we are. So that's a real thing, and I'm not thinking anything about it. And if that slows me down or speeds me up, it doesn't make a difference to me.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Hip Hop Gamer with Hot 97. First off, I just want to commend all of y'all, because y'all great, period. Your fighting styles, everything is amazing. So just commend all of the fighters up there, champions and all. All right, my question is for Chael and Silva, obviously. What I would say is this. Chael, you're incredible. Silva, you're incredible. The question is this. When you go into the ring, do you feel that just like whatever you feel that was a weakness in your game plan, what do you do to make that weakness a strength against Silva and vice versa? What do you see that's a chink in each other's armor that you feel you can use to win this battle June 24th?
Vanderlei?
Oh, wow. I mean, the truth, I don't have the question before. I don't have the game plan. My game plan is just kick his ass and stab him.
Yeah, man, I'm with him on that. I didn't know Vanderlei was going to show up. I really didn't. You know, in baseball rules, he had 2 strikes against him. He missed a press conference. He missed a second press conference, and the last trick was if he'd land in New York. And as soon as I got out of the cab at the hotel, I thought I saw him. I saw some guy in a crosswalk with a bald head that looked disheveled and lost. And I'm pretty sure that's Vanderlei. So I didn't know if they were going to use a revolving door. There was talk of Randy Couture coming in or a plan B. I didn't really know what I was preparing for. But as far as fighting Vanderlei Silva, I've had to fight him before in the streets with no notice. So it doesn't make a bit of difference to me.
Jim Everett, Lorenz, how's it going, man? How's this week been for you? You've been involved in massive events before. You know, how do you feel ahead of this fight on Saturday with Douglas Lehman?
I feel excited. I've just been taking in the week, going through everything, enjoying New York, and you know, it's really great that, you know, our hotel is right across the street. You know, so after a workout, I'm able just to look through the window and see where I'm going to fight on Saturday. So it's been great. I'm just soaking it all up, and I'm ready to get it done on Saturday.
Thank you, Zach. How's it going? You know, everyone's talking about Aaron Pico over here. He's on ESPN. Scott's giving her a shout out at the start of the press conference. Is that rubbing you up the wrong way at all? And you know, what can we expect to see from you on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm pissed. You know, no, it doesn't bother me at all. I understand. Actually, I thank Aaron for this opportunity. You know, I wouldn't be able to be up here speaking at this press conference if I didn't get the chance to fight Aaron. So the fact that you know, the fact that I get to compete at Madison Square Garden at the, you know, prime of my career, I'm extremely excited. You know, I'm the only guy I think up here with a day job, honestly. So you know, balancing that on top of training for this fight, it's not too easy. But I've definitely put all the work into it that I could to make sure I perform on Saturday night.
Thank you. Last question for Chael. Chael, you've got a look of determination in your eyes today. What is different about this comeback from the one that you had at the start of the year? You know, everyone's going to be paying $50 for this pay-per-view on Saturday, and you know, everyone's seen the comeback already once. Well, why is this different this time around?
I'll tell you, I've never been so motivated. I haven't been a motivated athlete in 10 years. I've been a very disciplined athlete. In the last 10 years, I fought for 5 world championships, sold out 6 different arenas, but I wasn't motivated. I had to operate on discipline. Showing up to practice, I was there on time every single day, but it was tough. It was tough to get in the car and get there. And motivation isn't something you can control. You've either got it or you don't. And, you know, losing to Tito was so embarrassing. Worst fighter in the history of the sport, I lose to him. You know, it's like if you beat a guy that's champion, you get to call yourself the champion. If you lose to a bum, you're a bum. And, you know, that doesn't sit well. I made changes that night. On my way back to the dressing room, I said, man, I'm never going to feel this way again. And I sat down with my coaches, and we made changes, and I stacked the bricks. And put checks in every single column, and if that converts to results, you know, let's see what happens. But I am completely ready to fight.
Hello, my question is for Fedor. This has been a long time coming to be coming to Madison Square Garden. So what will this mean to you personally to get to fight at the world's most famous arena?
Ну, конечно, я рад. Конечно, я рад выступать в большой арене.
Well, I'm very happy to perform at that great and famous arena.
Но, если честно, для меня она немного отличается от других арен.
But to be...
Потому что я, наверное, фанатам, для фанатов она имеет какое-то особое значение. Для меня особо нет разницы.
But to be honest, that doesn't make really very big difference for me which arena it is. For fans, that's really very important, I guess. But for me, performing is performing. The arena doesn't mean much for me.
A question for Zach. I just wanted to ask a follow-up, if I could. What is your day job?
So I'm in the commercial furniture business. I sell floor-to-ceiling wall systems for companies like Viacom. So if you guys need glass walls, I'd love to get some business. I mean, my bosses would love me for that. So. But that's what I do. I travel the country. I've been in Denver, Chicago. I've been in Austin, Dallas, Houston, just in the recent weeks. So it's kind of nice getting to go around to the different gyms and train. I've got to train with some really good guys. Most recently, Ryan Schultz, Ryan the Lion, if you guys remember IFL. I got to train with Alex Moreno he's in the UFC. I've got to train with a lot of good guys. So it's a good experience just getting to kind of mix it up. Because anytime you go to another gym and you're just the new guy, it's a Shark Tank. You know, they're going to make sure that they save their best guy for last, get you tired. So it's actually a great way to train. You know, there's no people treating you real nice. You actually, mixed martial arts, it does speak, no matter where I go train, you're automatically family in a way, but there's still that great level of competition.
Does this count as vacation days, or are you?
No, I actually will get up and train. I'll then go to work for 8 hours a day, and then I'll actually go train after work. So my days are usually 14, 15-hour days.
For Matt, how are we feeling? Are we hydrated? You drinking?
I'm hydrated and kidney stone free, brother.
No concerns?
No, but you know what's kind of cool? I realized something earlier today.
Okay.
Is that on Sunday morning, Bellator is now leading the industry, and that's a phenomenal place for us to be. After this fight, after the shows that we're all going to put on, Bellator is now having a lead foot, and now it's going to be exciting to see how Mr. K and Mr. Coker and all the other brains, Mr. Slusser, decide to lead from the front as opposed to chase from the back, and that's a really dope spot to be in.
Just a couple more. I wanted to ask Douglas a question. What did you think of Rory McDonald's performance just a few weeks back? Scott has already said that the winner of your fight against Lorenz will fight Rory for the belt. Were you impressed? And is there any part of you that's kind of not looking past Lorenz, but there's a big name sort of waiting for you, and you've already expressed interest in fighting him in the past?
Yeah, definitely. He looked really good. Not impressed. He just looked the way he usually does. I don't think that nose injury affected him. So yeah, it just makes me even more excited. Of course, I got a big test in Larkin, but man, the plan is to beat both of these guys this year. So it's a bright future for me after those wins.
Okay, and a question for Aaron. Who will be in your corner on Saturday?
My boxing coach, Dominic, Bob Cook, and Eddie Bravo.
Okay, wow. Yeah. Quite the team. And one last one for Chael. I know you said this was 3 strikes as far as Vanderlei showing up. Is there any part of you, because you've had, you guys have flirted with each other for so long at this point, that you'll only truly believe that you are fighting him if you're standing in front of him in the cage on Saturday, or do you feel like now it's it's actually a thing that's going to happen?
No, it's definitely going to happen. As soon as I saw him here, I knew it would happen. I accuse Vanderlei of a lot of things, but being a coward isn't one of them. He's not showing up in New York and finding an excuse between now and then. I've had guys that have done that, but he's not one. And, you know, speaking of your town, Ariel, Madison Square Garden, shaped like a circle. Great job, New York. And another thing, you know, I was on the Manhattan Bridge this morning. What kind of brainstorm session went on with your legislators to come up with that name? I mean, how much thought was put into that? I'd be so curious as to what name came in second, like Ralph or Fred or something. What else would you call it? Maybe you guys will make Broadway narrow next. Oh, wait, you already did. Do you have any comment on that? Madison Square Garden. Oh, you get a pass then. All right.
What's up, Matt? This question's for you, sir. Mitrione, we're here. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you. You're not winning any handsome contest up there, my man. You were supposed to fight in February. It's 4 months on now. You've had 2 camps, a lot of time to think about Fedor. What's it been? This is undoubtedly the biggest fight of your career. And what's that been cycling through with having to put in that much preparation and think about a guy like that for that long?
You know, at times it was difficult, but that's when you, let me expand on that. It's difficult because it's the same shuffle, right? Like, there's only so many counters, there's only so many extra movements, there's only so many things you can do to drill. It gets a wee bit mundane for that long period of time. But, you know, that's when you rely on training partners and coaches and mentors to keep you motivated. Like, you go in there that day, you're like, man, I'm really not feeling it. I was just thinking about doing this, this, and this. Yeah, okay, cool, man. And then all of a sudden you start working and they keep turning it up and turning it up and turning it up. And by the end of it, it was one of your hardest practices you've had for a while. And so, you know, whether it's to placate your ego and be like, yeah, sure, man, sounds good. Just come on in, let's get some work in. Or if it's, that's the way that they motivate you. I have a solid team around me. And I have to be accountable for Coach Henry. If I'm training back home in Indiana, and if I'm training down in Indiana, I have to be accountable to my kids. If I'm training down in Florida, I have to be accountable to my children, that I'm actually earning the time that I'm away from them and missing their baseball games or whatever else. So it was, at times motivation was difficult, but the work was always there. And if I went home on a day where I didn't work hard, I would not be able to sleep. So I made sure, or they made sure, that it never happened.
Tony Pagano here. Question for Larkin. You were part of a fairly large pay-per-view in your last fight with the guy who's now a boxer. How would you compare the 2 events?
Well, I'm on the main card for one, and there's just a lot of hype about this. You know, it's not surrounded around one guy. And it's the whole card, you know, that's making this event so exciting. So, you know, there's a lot when it comes to this, and it's just the whole card as a whole that makes this event what it is. You know, you can't just say, you know, the main event or the co-main event. You look at the whole card and you know what you're getting. You know, there's no lackluster performances. I hope not. That's going to be happening Saturday night.
And a question for Aaron Pico. Some very kind words from Scott Coker about you being the hottest prospect in quite some time. Obviously, this would be your debut, though, and there's no tape or anything on you. And, you know, what can we expect from you? And do you feel not having any tape on you is an advantage?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the question everybody's been wanting to know, is like what I'm going to be doing and stuff. And I think it's good not having tape on me. I think a lot of people don't know the skills I have, but come Saturday night, they're going to know.
James Lynch here for Flow Combat. My question first is for Lorenz. Obviously you're here, not with the UFC anymore. Do you feel like you have something to prove in this fight to kind of stick it to the UFC and be like, hey, you guys made a big mistake, not trying to resign?
I don't even say those three letters anymore. I'm all about Bellator, and I'm all about moving forward. And you know, and Bellator knows what they picked up with me. You know, they recognize the value that they have with me and what I bring to the table, and that's what it's all about now.
And this question's for Douglas. I know you're not looking past Lorenz here, but if you do get past him and you fight Rory McDonald next, would you be willing to fight him in Canada? I know you're the champion, but Rory obviously has a huge following in Canada.
Wherever the bigger show is, I'll fight him. You know, I can fight him in his backyard. It doesn't really matter. But of course, I'm not even going to think about that now. I'm thinking about Saturday. You know, it's an exciting fight. definitely the fight of the night for this show. I don't care who's in the card. But after this fight, we're moving forward. But I'll fight him anywhere.
Scott, I'm wondering if you can contextualize this event for us. How would you say this compares to some of the bigger events you promoted in Strikeforce? I know the comparisons can be difficult, but I'm wondering in your mind, where does this rank among the events you've promoted?
I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm up here. This is the premier event that I think I've ever promoted ever, because usually it's one big name and then we have some undercard fights, or there were some big names back then too, but to put a fight card, I mean look at the talent in this on this stage. It's pretty amazing, and to put it all together. As a fight fan, this is something that, when I was putting this thing together, I was like, okay, we got the two main events, and how are we gonna, let's show the young guys, let's show the guys that are champs, to round this card off the way it's been, I think probably, well, to me, it's the best pay-per-view of 2017, hands down, because I'm the guy that buys all those pay-per-views, and you know what? I haven't bought one pay-per-view this year, and I will be buying this one at home, even though I'll be at the Garden. So.
And for Chael, obviously, before the Tito fight, you were gone a long time, 3+ years. Do you feel like you're more in a groove now that this is your second fight camp since you've come back?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought I was ready for that night, but I mean, it was a real thing. It was a different kind of experience. But yeah, I don't ever want to feel that way again. I will never underperform again. My biggest regret in the Tito fight is I just didn't bring my skills with me. I just didn't go out there and perform. And you'll have those kind of matches in your life. I grew up as a wrestler. Those kind of things happen. But in a wrestling tournament, you get another shot 45 minutes later. In a situation like MMA, you only get 3 of these matches a year. It's tough. You can't go out there and underperform, and I vowed to myself, and I will vow to you, I will not do that again.
And you've been a competitor a long time. You have your usual routines and everything. I'm wondering, have you done anything differently this time? Have you any new wrinkles that you've tried to prepare for this fight?
I have the best coaches out there. I could be coached by anybody, and I picked exactly the right guys. I got the right gym, the right teammates. I listen to them, I respect them, I trust them. And no, we worked really hard. I went to bed sore and tired every day. I walked out of that ring in January, and we flew home to Oregon. We started training the very next day. I offered to step in on a last-minute fight when Mitch Reelens had his kidney issues, and that was just because I was just dying to get back in there. It didn't have anything to do with the opponent. I just really wanted one more shot.
And wear and tear on your body, how are you feeling at this stage in the game here?
Well, terrible. Oh, I'm so sore and so tired, but I think that's just part of it. We really push it to the max, and this week, aside from making weight, is really about recovering and resting up, and I think I'm catching up on it. I'm feeling better each day.
Thank you. And for Matt, I remember you spoke to the media before the event in LA, and you had said, I think you were asked about Fedor and how he's gone away from his grappling in his recent fights. He's mostly been predominantly a striker later in his career.
Yeah.
But you had said something very interesting, that you were preparing for 100% Fedor, his whole grappling repertoire and his striking. Can you elaborate on what you've been preparing and why?
Well, Fedor is, if you watch his films, he's got Sambo throws, Greco throws that are out of this world. He's got some incredible knee pick takedowns. He's so explosive. His timing is impeccable. That's one of the reasons why he's the greatest of all time. I mean, he's just that good at what he does. So there was a fight. I can't remember who it was. It was in Pride, and somebody got a body lock on him and was taking him down. And in the process of being taken down, he backstepped and high-legged over and ended up on top. I mean, that's the proprioceptive awareness to be able to do something like that is just bananas, especially at the right time. And that's what's, like I said, that's what's made him so great, is his fight IQ and his knowledge and his timing of when to do what he's going to do. So we've really spent a tremendous amount of time on guys with what I call refrigerator strength. They can pick up a refrigerator and carry a block at any given moment. So I expect him to be, obscenely strong. I expect him to be all day strong. And I know how quick he is. So that's really what the biggest challenge was, is to find somebody that had timing that could get in on my body lock, and fearlessly get in on it, because he's so comfortable with his throws and his grappling that he can recklessly charge in and throw massive overhands, hooks, uppercuts in combination. Just if he ends up nipple to nipple with you, that's what he wants anyway. So what's the big damn deal to him? He might have to eat a punch on the way in, but that'd probably be it. So It was a challenge, but I think I had a really good training camp. I had a very good series of training partners, and I think I'm very prepared for that.
My question is for Scott. Speaking about Matt right now and how prepared he seems, what does it mean for his star power to beat someone like Fedor, and what does it mean for your organization to have someone like Matt?
I mean, you know, Fedor is, you know, one of the greatest heavyweight of all time. Let's just put it out there. And you know, this is a big fight for Matt. This is a fight that could, you know, take him to the next part of his career. You know, this is a fight that I don't think that, personally, I don't think it's going to go 3 rounds. I think that, you know, someone's going to get hit. And I think we're going to see a stoppage at that point. But for Matt, I think this is a big opportunity. For Fedor, I think, you know, he's protecting his legacy, and it's going to be one of the fun fights of the night.
And Matt, you know, athletes always talk about visualization, what they visualize. What do you see at the end of this fight? How do you visualize yourself winning? What do you think about afterwards?
I see myself winning, obviously, and I throw hands. I feel comfortable with my athletic ability and my movement, that I shouldn't be a rock'em sock'em robot in this fight. If I am, then something went pretty wrong. But I see my hand raised. I see one hell of a fight, man. I respect Fedor a lot. I think he's awesome. He's a really good dude, too, on top of that, which is cool.
And professionally, you and your star power, what do you see?
I just see myself being a little bit more awesome than I already am. That's it.
Thank you.
Very quietly sitting in the back, Brent Primus, we haven't heard from you today at all. You know, it's well documented that your dad was incarcerated and drug dealing, and you got involved as a teenager. But here you are, Madison Square Garden, fighting that wrecking ball Chandler on Saturday night. Your life's turned around, you know, you are now an exemplary father. Can you just talk a little bit about your journey and what it feels like to be fighting on the biggest stage you could possibly have been, and maybe 15, 16 years ago you were headed over the cliff?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. Just to look back where I was, you know, 15, years ago or whatever. Definitely had a little troubled childhood and was a little punk back then, and just to think where I'm at now, and fighting Madison Square Garden with a bunch of legends, it's a dream come true. You know, it's kind of unbelievable a little bit, but it's pretty cool. You know, in my eyes, I'm fighting one of the best lightweights in the world, if not one of the best not the best lightweight. So, it's amazing. I'm here. I'm on Saturday. I'm going to show why I'm here, and I'm one of the best lightweight in Bellator. I'm going to walk out of that cage with that belt. It's pretty cool what hard work does. I've came from a long road for sure.
Thank you. In fact, just final question from me for Mr. Coker. Scott, can you talk just a little bit, you touched on it at the beginning, about the magnanimous nature of what this event is, the kind of things you're doing. Like, I think, I still believe you're using the scales that Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier weighed in on in 1971. That was called the Fight of the Century. Right. Can you just talk a little bit about what the history of this event might mean? And you are using those scales, I take it, tomorrow.
Yes, so I'm not sure if the fighters know, but during the weigh-ins at the Garden, at the theater, we will be using the same scales that Ali and Frazier weighed themselves on. So, to me, it's, that's part of history, and I'm a big boxing fan, big Ali fan. So that's going to be something really cool. But, Gareth, when you talk about, just the fights, and throughout like a 32-year career of all these fights we put together, and we've done some great fights, some big fights, big stadiums, and to be at the Garden is something very special. To be at the home of Viacom, New York City, is very special. To be this fight on pay-per-view is very special, and to have, I'm a fan of these guys. I mean, I'm a fan of what they do. I'm a fan of their work, and this is something that's really, really special to me. And this is the biggest fight card I've ever been associated with, and you'll see some great, you'll see some great action. You'll see some, some legends fights. I mean, I watch all those fights in Pride. I watch all those fights, throughout the years, and to me to have the legends here, it's pretty amazing. And then, have Michael Chandler, who is the best lightweight in the world today, and Lima. To me, we have the best 170-pound weight class in the planet right now. With Rory and Lima and Lorenz, and And you know, it just, the list goes on and on. So to me, to watch this company grow over the last 3 years to get to this point, I was just talking to Kevin earlier saying, you know, could you imagine like 3 years ago that if I would have said this to you, I don't think you would have believed me. But to be here is very special, and I'm excited for Saturday night.
Hey, question for Scott. You mentioned this being historic and the biggest fight card you've been involved with, and yet, you know, Davis and Bader aren't even up here right now. They're on the prelim. What is the exact reasoning for that? Why did you decide to keep that on the opening portion?
Well, you know, we have a Spike 180 card that we wanted to deliver great fights and a big fight. And originally Bader was going to fight King Mo, and then King Mo got hurt. So, you know, we made a decision. We said, okay, well, we could, you know, have him fight someone else. But I said, no, this is the fight card. So let's stack it even further. Let's put 3 title fights on. And so we brought Phil in, which he was gracious enough to take it. And luckily he was training. He was in other camps. He was doing his thing. So he's ready to go. That fight's going to be amazing, and it's going to be, you know, free on Spike leading up to our pay-per-view. So if you put that fight together with, you know, the pay-per-view, I mean, 3 title fights plus all this, I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
And you know, looking at Davis and Bader's resume, obviously it speaks for itself. They've stood in there with a who's who. Davis said yesterday that he thought that the light heavyweight division was the best in Bellator, better than UFC, better than anywhere. Do you agree with him? What do you think about that?
Well, you know, it's I think it's definitely one of our strongest divisions, and I think our welterweight is one of our strongest divisions as far as, you know, having just great matchups, you know, lined up ahead. So I would think those 2 divisions are something that's going to be fun to watch.
This question's for both Matt and Fedor. Bellator is pitching this fight a little bit as USA versus Russia. Given our current political climate, is that something you're interested in being part of and okay with?
Мы все времена говорили, что спорт вне политики.
Well, in all the times, they used to say that sports always out of the politics.
I agree, man. Let the world do what the world does. I mean, Fedor's a good dude, I'm a good dude. We just get paid to go punch each other in the face. I'm not trying to put world implications or anything kind of madness on this, man. After this, I'm sure we'll shake hands, sign each other's posters, and be cool. So hopefully we can do that in the world, too.
Hi, my first question is for Chael and for Wanderlei Silva. We have been waiting 3 years until your fight, so what is your feeling now?
I feel great, and I waited too. I waited for a long time for this fight. And then I have a fight with one opponent, and I don't like that. And I promise I'm going to make a great show.
Okay, another for, oh, okay. Chael?
Hello, sweet potato. What was the question? I was a little distracted. What'd you say?
My question was, what is your feeling now, Chael?
Pretty excited, as a matter of fact. But back to the fight. As far as Wanderlei Silva goes, listen, let me tell you something, young lady, and send this back home to your people, because on 6/24 at 7 p.m., 10 in the East, and only on pay-per-view, Chael Sonnen Promotions, in conjunction with Bellator NYC, are going to bring you the biggest grudge match in history, and when all is said and done, it's going to be one more in the win column, one more for the highlight reel, and one more for the bad guy.
Okay. Now I have a question for heavyweights. Does the tension grow up since Bellator 172? Matt first.
I'm sorry, could you fire that one off again?
It's a problem, isn't it, Matt? It's really a problem up here. Yeah, what?
Are you good, Matt? Are you good now?
I'm solid.
Are you ready to get into the cage?
Oh yeah, I'm 100%, man. Yeah, 100%. Can't wait to get after it.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, the tension between Matt and Fedor is growing up since the other Bellator.
I don't feel like there's any tension at all. If there is, it's on his part. I haven't picked it up yet, but it seems cool as a cucumber to me.
Скорее наоборот, напряжение уходит.
No, the tension is going away gradually.
Can I jump in on this? Go ahead.
My last question is for you, because you shared on Twitter 10 reasons why you want to fight with Wanderlei Silva, and one of them was because he always orders salmon in Smith & Wollensky's.
Yes.
So tonight, we are going to have dinner there, so what do you recommend us?
Yeah, well, and I don't think he's given an acceptable answer as to where he was the day JFK got shot. Don't forget about that. That's kind of made me mad for a few years. Can I weigh in on the Fedor Emelianenko thing? I say this as a fan, but these two guys are completely distracting me, and it's very hard sometimes to be the main event when you're kind of fan I am. I didn't know how this fight would do. I just didn't know. But I was in San Jose the day this was playing. Now, it only got scrapped 2 hours before doors opened. That arena was completely sold out, over $800,000 gate. People want to see Mitrione and Fedor fight. And it was one of the best fight announcements I've ever seen. The best fight announcement I've ever seen was a Wednesday night Hard Rock Casino, live on Spike TV. Dana came out and he says, the greatest welterweight of all time, and out walks Matt Hughes. And he says, versus the greatest fighter of all time, and out walks Royce Gracie. And we all just stand back and go, yeah, there's no embellishment there. You just can't argue with that. I feel like Matt Mitrione is the best heavyweight of this time. He's taken on the best heavyweight of all time. This was one of the most exciting and perfect fight announcements I've ever seen. I just want to share that with you, just so we can keep the dialogue going, you and I.
Okay, Matt Mitrione, okay, sure. But what I have to order tonight?
Oh, at Smith & Lewinsky's, you know what? If you're going there, if you're asking me a serious question, they have a corned beef and hash, and they'll put a couple of scrambled eggs on top of it. It's very good.
Perfect. It's enough. Thank you, Chad.
All right.
Just a quick one for Mike Chandler in the back there. Right now, you're pretty much the only lightweight champion in the sport who is active in defending his belt. You're not, changing organizations. You're not boxing. How much pride do you take in that?
Man, I just take pride in fighting. This is now my 20th fight. So it's worked out perfect, 20th anniversary fight at Madison Square Garden. So the trajectory of my career, the ups, the downs, winning the belt, losing the belt, man, I've come back from the depths of a valley. Didn't know if I was going to get back to where I am, and here I am. So to have the belt, to have the championship, to be up there in that top 10, the upper echelon of the lightweights in the world is great. But I'm not satisfied. I want to go out every single time I step into the cage and dominate, and that's what I want to do on Saturday night. And it's cool, man. It's you want to stay active. You want to fight as much as you possibly can. And Scott and I are in constant dialogue about. He knows I want him to continue to sign top free agents and top talent, as he is, top prospects and top talent from other organizations. So he's got a ton of feelers out there. I know these guys are working a ton behind the scenes, and he's going to keep feeding them to me, and I'm going to keep knocking them down. And it's an awesome ride, and it's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I just can't wait to defend this title on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden.
This question's for Chael. How you doing, brother?
Awesome. How do I look?
Fantastic.
Look good, feel good, Dwayne.
I believe it. So there's, in your interviews and your media in the lead up to this, there's been much ado about the testing that's happened, or in your mind hasn't happened. I'm not sure how it feels. You've had controversy in this area in the past. What's changing you now, and how this is being handled?
Well, it's kind of handled the same. I mean, I feel like you're asking me if I'm clean. Am I interpreting that right?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I think that, we kind of have a difference here on semantics. You say clean, and I would say clean-ish. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be judged like the other guys. I want graded more like on a curve, if you know what I'm saying. In a world of sinners, are any of us really clean, Dwayne?
We're in New York, brother.
well said. Well said. Yeah, man, we got tested. We did the whole process. I'm having a little fun with you, but I don't suspect anything from my opponent. I don't think he expects anything from me.
And this question for Scott. Scott, in Chicago, you started kind of the wheels in motion on this, right? Originally it was Bader and King Mo, correct? And then it moved on. In the months that you've led up to this huge card, I mean, you called it in Chicago saying that this is going to be the biggest of the year, I mean, and how do you feel from that kind of start, where that started, to where we're at now, completing on Saturday night, about to cross that finish line? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel really good. I mean, I'm really excited, and I think that our staff and Viacom and the Spike TV for Bellator 180, it's from top to bottom. I mean, think about it. You can sit down, watch Spike for free, order the pay-per-view, have 5-6 hours of just amazing action. And you know, when I think about Chicago, it actually started before that. It started in San Jose, because when that fight didn't happen, we talked to Fedor that night and said, hey, you know, when do you want to fight? He said, I want to fight in May, June. So I said, okay, I just penciled that in the back of my mind, and then we signed Vanderlei and Chael, and we said, okay, when do you guys want to fight? They said, May, June, and it just started coming together organically. And so to be here, you know, like with all these fighters, I mean, it's a great feeling, because at the end of the day, I'm still a fan. I'm still a guy that's going to be able to sit there, have the best seat in the house, and watch these guys get it on.
Thank you. Yes, one or two more, Mr. Joe, and then you, and then we'll wrap it.
Vanderlei, this question's for you. 4 years out of the cage. This is your first fight back. I guess it's a two-part question. Number one, was there consideration of taking a tune-up fight? And number two, is cage rust a real thing, or is that something we here in the media who don't fight for a living make up?
I fight because I like it, and I stopped for 4 years, a long time. But I'm feel ready, and I train a lot, and I'm going to make a great show.
Chael, my friend Rob Wetmore asked me if you're ready for a cheesesteak. Sorry.
I am. Tell Rob I said hello. I am ready for a cheesesteak, as a matter of fact. They don't put mayonnaise on them in this town. I don't really understand that, but they're pretty good.
And Aaron, are we going to see you on a mat in 2020?
I'm just focused on fighting right now, but I'm still keeping up my wrestling. Obviously, it's a big part of my game, but I've been saying it. Just the best thing is just keep training.
Love to see you anywhere.
Thank you, everybody. If you could all keep seated.